Fabulous.
Thank you, Susie. And food.
Mary Ann, you have to write that into a couple of short, a couple sentences, a couple paragraphs, and send that to Donna. We want to make, I mean,
Okay.
that would be awesome because, everybody, we always say that TTN is all about connections, and that's one that really has to be put out there. That's great.
Okay, I'll be happy to. Yeah, it's very special because we were very dear friends, but time and life kind of separated us, and I never expected to see her again.
Oh,
Wow.
We
great.
will see
Nice.
one another. We will.
Roberta, you wanted to
Food for
talk
the-
about food?
Oh, yeah, just, are we bringing food? I don't remember.
Maureen is the one who wrote those words down. Maureen, will you talk about it?
Yes, we're going by the alphabet. If your last name is A through N, you bring a main dish. And if it's O through Z, you bring either like an appetizer, fruit or vegetables or something, or a dessert. And Mary will provide water and ice water. If you want wine or something else to drink, you can bring that to share. Mary will also provide the plates, knives, forks, servings, ice, all that other kind of stuff. And that's all listed in the write-up that Susie is going to be putting out in a few days.
Is the date, what is the date?
It's the
20th.
third Monday of the month.
20th.
20th.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
The
Mary
day after my
Greenlee, did you
labor.
want to say anything
Well-
quickly?
Just know that the pond will not be open to be a spa that night. No, but you'll get to see the frogs and all the other stuff that I have in my backyard. Who knows, some of those girls might come up and beg.
So thanks for hosting it again.
It
Yet
it will be fun, inside or out. Either way, we'll do it.
Okay, are we ready to start then?
Yes, if everybody would mute themselves, that'd be terrific, except for
Okay.
Ann.
Oh, darn, I have to talk. All right, let me bring up. So this year we have a bit of a deck that's going to sort of serve as our talking stick. So I just wanted to, first of all, we're talking about what the Aging Mastery Peer Group has done over the last year. And just to make sure that everybody knows who's in the peer group. So from left to right in the picture in front of you, it's Roberta, Kayne, and Jane Tessier, Maureen, Severns, Pat, Snyder, myself, Jeannette McDonald, and Leslie Robinson. So this group has been meeting every 2 weeks for almost 2 years. We did take a fair amount of the summer off last year. We're going to take summer off this year, but essentially after 2 years, we're still together. And I'm very excited about that. And I'm very excited because the group wants to keep going. So, and tonight, what we're going to do is I'm going to briefly sort of just tell you about the books that we explored this year, what we read. We're not going to go into a lot of detail about each of the books, but if you're curious at the end and you have questions, or you want to go get the book yourself, you could call one of us. We'd be happy to have a conversation with you about it. I'll talk a little bit about the adventures we've had over the last year, and then we're going to do some small group exercises. So one of the books was The Soul of a Woman, and we've conjured up a small group exercise around that. So Susie will be putting us into breakout rooms, and we'll be having a conversation about some of the information in that book. I think some of you may remember last year, we read a book by a gentleman named Ilchi Lee. We read another book by him again this year, sort of followed along. It was about brain science, him using his exercise ideas and his fitness ideas in the support of keeping your brain good. So we're going to stand up and do some exercise from the Ilchi Lee point of view. The other book that folks thought would be interesting to talk about is Atomic Habits. Atomic Habits is a book that was very popular everywhere almost this year. I don't know if you guys heard about it, but it was quite popular on the Amazon bestseller list and stuff. And the other thing that the author James Clear has going for him is that he's a native of Columbus, Ohio. We'll do a little bit of what's next for the aging mastery group, and then we'll do questions or open discussion, anything else that you guys want to talk about as time permits. So what did we read this year? And what were these books about? So the first one was called Lifespan, Why We Age, by David Sinclair. So this was a very sciencey kind of book. Talked a lot about how we might slow or even reverse aging, living healthfully until 100 plus years. He's did a lot of research and guides you through the science and the practical strategies to make your health span equal to your lifespan and make your lifespan long and vibrant. So that's what that book was about. Growing Young, How Friendship, Optimism, and Kindness Can Help You Live to 100 by Marta Zaraska. So this brings in this idea of never stop learning, to keep having friends, keep making new friends. And
we
Yes.
can't see your deck if you want to.
Well, I'm not, thank you for interrupting. I'm doing a fine job here.
So we share your screen and show
Yeah.
your deck.
I will do that. I thank you, because I get a B, maybe a C in Zoom Queen
Ah,
every time I do this. All right, let's try this again. So now, can you see it? Yes?
It's the end of the deck, so you might want to go to the beginning. There we go.
All right. So growing young, we talked about that one. So the next one, In Full Bloom. So this was the second book that we read by Ilchi Lee. And this is, all about how to keep your brain young through physical movement. And it is, and he's Asian. So what we learn is a lot of Asian style movement. So it's not the traditional, go out and run your 3 miles and lift your weights kind of thing. So it's an interesting book, and you guys will get to learn more about it. The next one is called The Soul of a Woman. This one's by Isabel Allende. I don't know if any of you know her. She's written quite a few books. And basically, we picked this book. I'm not sure if it came to me or one of the other members, and they thought it was a really compelling premise in the book. It's a memoir kind of book about revisiting our feminist roots, especially for those of us who actually were feminists maybe the first time around kind of thing. And so it was a very good book. We enjoyed it a lot, and we're going to do an exercise from that information. The Gift of Years, Growing Old Gracefully. So this is from Joan Chittister. So Joan happens to be a Catholic nun who is also quite prolific. She's written a lot of books, and she's also somewhat of a feminist. And so what she's talking about is the fact that getting old doesn't have to diminish you, that, this is a gift, the years that you have. And basically the book is a collection of stories that she has to tell you about the older people that she has encountered, those kinds of things. We read Atomic Habits. As I said, James Clear is talking about this easy and proven way to build good habits and break bad ones. He's a Columbus boy, and I think we took a fair amount out of that, and you guys will get to learn more about it when we do a breakout on that one. And the last book that we read so far, for this year, this like school year, if you will, was called Joyful: The Surprising Power of Ordinary Things to Create Extraordinary Happiness. And so Ingrid Fattel Lee is a young woman, she's a designer. And she got really curious about the concept of what brings us joy when she was presenting her PhD projects from her design education. And one of the professors that looked at what she had out on her table made what she thought was a really curious comment and said that the things that she had created brought him joy. And that had not been her intention. Most designers, that's not really, usability, some of those kinds of things are what they have on their mind. So she went off on, for lack of a better term, sort of a tangent, and figured out what are all the things in our lives that bring most of us joy, kind of thing. And so the thing that I found really interesting in this book is just how from a scientific perspective, we all get joy from circular things like ice cream cones, like the little circle dots and confetti. Most of us, in spite of the fact that we color our homes in gray and brown and drab, would get more joy in our homes if we put more color in them. She found out there is this thing called, I think they're called color phobics. So there are people that are, afraid to put color in their home or their life, kind of thing, even though there's a lot of science that says bright colors give you a lot of joy. So those are the books that we read over the last year. And so now what we want to do is we want to talk a little bit about the soul of a woman. So we're going to break you guys up into small groups and ask you, so we'll put some members of the Aging Mastery group in each small group to sort of facilitate the conversation. If you don't have anything to say, go back. I don't want to be there. Oh, no, I'm supposed to do this. I missed this slide. My apologies. We're going to talk briefly about the adventures we had this year, and then we'll do the exercise. Somehow my crib notes got a little out of order. So last summer, the group, most of us went to Lakeside at Chautauqua. So that's in Ohio. It's not the Chautauqua that's in New York. And we spent a week in a house there, visited, had the whole Lakeside experience, went out one day to Marblehead, went over to Kelly's Island, rented a golf cart for 8 people or whatever, and drove around and had a really, really good time. Learned a little bit more about how you need to pay attention to the pictures that people put on their VRBO sites or their rental sites in terms of how you figure out what the floor plan really is and whether or not it's really going to be a good fit. So there were some adventures there, but as the sign in the picture says, what happens at Lake Erie stays at Lake Erie. So we're not going to tell you all of the secrets, but it was a great experience. So everybody enjoyed it, and we're gonna do something similar again this summer, and I'll tell you about that a little bit later. The other thing that we did, we have a private Facebook group for this Aging Mastery peer group. And so we did a 30-day Pride Challenge. And the point was for everyone to try to post something every day or as many days as possible for 30 days, something that they did that they were proud of. And part of that exercise is around this idea that as women, we think of things having to be really big in order for us to be able to say that we're proud of it. And so this was an exercise in trying to pretend or look at our lives from the perspective of, if we were a guy, he would say he was proud of it. So if a guy did the dishes, most of the time he'd say he was proud of himself for doing the dishes, you know? So trying to really level set what it was that we could be proud of every day. And it was, I think, a good exercise. People participated. I think they learned things about themselves. So that was one of the activities that we did. Now I think, yes, now we're on to this exercise. So as I was starting to say, Susie's going to break us into groups, and somebody from the peer group will be in all of the rooms. The quote that we want you to talk about is one that seemed a very succinct statement about a wide range of what it is that women want. And for us, it rang true. So the question for you guys as you go into your small groups is to share your thoughts on whether or not you think this is true for you as a woman. Is this what you want? And you might also think about, you know, is this what you wanted in your 20s and maybe didn't know or didn't know how to articulate? And then again, is it what you want today? So the quote we're going to talk about is this idea, oops, sorry, bad, okay. This is what women want: to be safe, to be valued, to live in peace, to have their own resources, to be connected, to have control over their bodies and lives, and above all, to be loved. So that sort of rang true for all of the members in the Aging Mastery group. And we thought it would be useful to have a conversation with all of you about whether that rang true for you, whether you think it should be expanded, whatever your thoughts are about it. So, Susie, I think you can break us up, and we'll given the time that is now, I think we can give folks like, what, did we say like 15 minutes before for the conversation? Is that what we're going to do? Or did we say 10? I don't remember.
10 for this one and 15 for the next one is what you said.
Okay. All right, let's do that. And then in your group, if you have somebody that could jot down some highlights, because when we come back, we'll sort of go around, and if anybody has any highlights they want to share, we'll ask you to share those.
Hi, Jane.
Hi. Guys.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So are we all back, Susie? Susie?
Yes, she said she's nodding her head, yes.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Yeah.
So do we have somebody, anybody who wants to share what the conversation in their group was like?
Okay.
Roberta?
Yep. Okay, well, we had a pretty deep conversation, so I took the best notes that I could. And what we came up with, kind of the bottom line or the starting place, is that aging can jeopardize all of these things that that women want: to be safe, to be valued, to live in peace, yada yada. And other things that we talked about: to be safe is a universal need. How is our safety affected by aging? We are more vulnerable. We want to be connected and need to be connected, especially as aging. And there is a loss of control over all of these things, to be connected and to be safe. Because again, we're more vulnerable. TTN is a good resource for connecting, which is one of the things we want. Something that we would add is that we want to be respected. We want to be relevant, as well as being valued. And we need to reach out to the community to feel that we have contributions to make. Pat, I did the best I could. Do you have anything to add? Are you here?
No, I think that was a good summary. I liked the idea of looking at these needs through the lens of how does the aging affect that, and what kind of hard work do we have to do to be where we want to be as older women. So, good job, group.
Yes. All right. Anybody else want to share?
And I'll be glad to.
Excellent.
Our group collectively agreed that the items that were on that list were more important at different times in our life than others.
Mm.
And while it is collective, they didn't have the same weight throughout the time. Love in particular, how it changed. And then we also added creativity to the master list.
Okay,
That's all.
cool.
Good group.
Thanks. All right. Anybody else? Janice?
I was the recorder for our group. I want to say though, I like that Donna, not Donna, Roberta, sorry, looked at that list from an aging mastery standpoint, because it didn't occur to me to do that. So I just joined a new group. So good for you. I thought that really was very interesting.
I
That
was just
was
a
a
note
really
taker.
nice perspective. We had one member of our group said that they would want to add to be liked, because although it says to be loved, sometimes to be liked is different. And maybe in some ways that's similar to relevant. I don't know. And there was a comment made that, you know, as women, we sometimes are plagued with worrying too much about what will make others like us, or doing things that might just might be to please others. And You know, that's something that we don't want to be. I would have added, because this has been I've been focused on this for a while, probably since I was at TTN the first time. I would add that there'd be something about in there about meaning, purpose, or meaningful, or feeling like, and maybe that's relevant, feeling like I was making a difference, or at least had made a difference at some point in my life and had some way of contributing.
Mhm.
So we talked a little bit about that. The other point, and I brought this up, was, would that list be different if someone said, what would we want to be just as a human living in this age versus what it means to be a female? So we talked a little bit about that. And then we discussed a little bit about being at peace and what that means in today's world, you know, what that means with daily episodes of horrific gun violence. And the difference, you know, this inner peace, and the difference between what the inner peace is, your inner peace, and what's going on in this crazy world around us, and how do we reconcile those, or how do we balance those?
Right.
And then, so, yeah, I think that, was there anything else? Did I get everything, my group? Okay. That's
Alright.
us.
So I think there's at least one more group.
Room 5, yes.
And
Susan's
one.
group.
And yeah, okay, go ahead, Sharon.
Well, we started out talking about Isabel Allende, who had said that she had been a feminist from the age of 5 because she had grown up with somewhat of a macho grandfather. Another member of our group talked about how having one's own resources are so important, and that sometimes you can see from in your own family, extended family, how that lack of one's own resources can have a great effect on your behavior, and I would imagine your personality. We talked a lot about control over one's body as something that obviously has come up with, you know, the Supreme Court draft decision. And we talked about what the difference between people our age, women our age, who remember pre-Roe versus Wade, as having causing a difference in outlook on this from people who have always had Roe versus Wade in their lives. So that being people of our age does give you a different perspective, and maybe a more realistic, and possibly horrific, you know, outlook on just what a world or a country without Roe versus Wade might look like, might actually entail. I think we ended on a positive note that women are likely to rise up, and that might include those who either thought they were in favor of it or didn't think it was going to be such a big deal, depending on their age. You know, so that maybe even if it seems like something that will be handed down as fixed, maybe the reaction will result in some kind of change.
Yeah. And then Carol, do you want to speak to our group?
Yeah, we talked about adding, there were a couple words that folks would add to the list. One was to be happy. Another one was not just to be loved, but to love, which is kind of different. And then also we had the same, Janice, came up with the phrase, in addition to being valued, it's to have purpose. And I think they're similar, they're related. I think somebody recently just said to be relevant, or I think Janice, you said contributing, you know, all those things that that give you value, purpose, are all also things that that we would like to have. We spent some time talking about the fact that we've all, how many of those boxes can we check as individuals? Can we say we're at peace, or we're happy, or we're loved? And we talked about how our background, our upbringing, our families, our experiences make each one of us have just a different view of those and a different opportunity to, for lack of a better word, check off more boxes than others because of the way our families and our friends and our situations were. And Brenda shared an experience that she had this past weekend looking at, I think we kind of alluded to that, Sharon, is the generational difference on how we as women are viewed. So Brenda, if you want to just take a minute on that.
Well, as I'm sitting here listening to everybody talk, I'm going to change what I said in the group, but I had an opportunity to, in 1 week, talk to an 85-year-old and a 24-year-old, basically about life and what's going on in their worlds right now. And, I'm sitting here thinking the 85-year-old's purpose in life was to be loved and take care of the family. And the 24-year-olds just want to love and live their lives. And it's just such a contrast between the two. The 85-year-old husband died a while back, about 3 years ago. And she's living life now and excited and she's got her arms up in the air saying freedom and all those kinds of things. But she grew up being taught that, she was to take care of her family. I'm her daughter, so she did a good job of that. But now at 85, she's getting to do fun things and go out and do something other than be that person that was to take care of everybody. So, and the 24-year-old is just, what a different view on life. They're not going to let anybody control them. They're not going to be, they're going to live their lives and do their own thing. So it was really a nice contrast to hear both sides of that.
All right, I think that was all the groups. Anybody have anything else they wanted to add or anything? So if you feel like your feminist bone is getting a little bit weak, I think we would all highly recommend this book. As Sharon mentioned, this is a woman who was a feminist since she was 5 or 6 years old because of the environment that she grew up in. But I think she's had a very broad life, and the book was really very poignant in terms of, what it's been like for a woman over the last 50 odd years, kind of thing, even longer, because I think she's a little older now. But so it's a great book if you want to, rev up your feminist bone. I think we would highly recommend this. All right. So what are we going to talk about next? Let's see. All right. So the other the other guy, Ilchi Lee. So this is an author who we read one of his books last year. I've decided to live 120 years, the ancient secrets to longevity, vitality, and life transformation. And this year we decided to read, because, our brains are something that many of us worry about a lot, kind of thing. And so I think that's what attracted us to this book. It's called In Full Bloom, A Brain Education Guide for Successful Aging. And a fair amount of the book is about movement and exercise based on Asian practices of yoga, health and wellness, and meditation. So this is not what you think of as exercise in the traditional Western sense. It's very Asian or Eastern slanted kind of thing. So we thought, this were about in the middle of today's presentation, we would take a couple of exercises out of the book and we'd ask you to practice them with us. So first one is called abdominal tapping.
Do you want
Are you
to
gonna share your screen?
share your screen, Anne?
I want to stop sharing it after I tell people how to do this, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
because I thought you had an illustration there on there. thing.
don't I? Or did I stop? Oh, wait,
Yeah,
I have to share again.
you have to share. Yeah.
So. All right, so the first one is called abdominal tapping. And the essence of a lot of what we learned from Il-Chi Lee in his book is about the energy centers that are in our lower abdomen, our core. And this area between your hips is associated with energy for physical vitality. And by activating and building up the energy there, we can live more creatively and have more stable relationships. It stimulates our brains. So what we're going to do is we're going to stand up. You're going to flex your knees a little bit. So your knees are not locked. And we're going to beat on our bellies. So it's really effective at bringing circulation to your internal organs, and this will help you keep centered in your body. So let me stop sharing and I'll try and demonstrate. And I want you guys to follow along. All right. So, all right, yes. So you stand up, your shoulders are back, your head is, your chin is level with the ground kind of stuff. And you use your fists or your flat hands and you pound on your belly as close to the same spot around your navel as you can, kind of thing. It's kind of hard not to run into your hands. So now, I want you to understand that in reality, what he suggests that we do in the book is that you do this 100 times. So I had the unique opportunity when I was in Phoenix. There is it's called Mind Body Studio. Il-Chi Lee has a studio in Phoenix, in Glendale, close to where my son lived, where I was, where they use these techniques. So the way that we would warm up for class would be to stand there in the room, so how sometimes you go to yoga. The yoga classes I've been to before, you sort of go in and you relax a little bit. You might lay on the floor and do a little stretch kind of thing. No, when you go to these Il-Chi Lee classes, you stand up and you start beating on your belly. The other thing that happens is, in order to make sure you get your 100 taps in, so what he'll do is go around the class and have everybody count to 10. We're not going to do that here, but essentially, that's how he gets you to make sure you get your 100 taps in. So when you're at home after this and you want to energize yourself a little bit more, you just start counting every time you hit with one of your, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then you start over again and keep tapping and counting. Now, this might not seem like much, but along with these other things that we're doing in the class or that we might do today, it does warm up your core and get your blood circulated.
It does.
So that's the first exercise we're going to talk about. Let me bring back my chair and show you another one that's similar. All right, so let's see. I have to share my screen again. All right, so the next one is similar, only different. So this one is called the intestinal exercise. And what you are doing is you are standing again with your legs, not not locked, but with a little bend in them, making sure your feet are parallel. And you're gonna move your abdomen. So one of the things that he points out is that contrary to popular thought, many of us hold a great deal of tension in our abdomen, which can contribute to our digestive issues. So most of us, and most of the people I know, think about all the tension that they carry in their shoulders. We never talk about carrying tension in our abdomen, but apparently that's a very big, that's a contributing factor sometimes to the people who have digestive issues or have stomach issues. So for this one, what we're going to do is we're going to do the same basic standing position. We're going to put our hands, put your thumbs right beside the belly button and make a little shape like it's in the picture here. And then you're going to breathe out, suck your belly in all the way back to your back, and then breathe in and make your belly round. Fill it up with air. And we're going to do that same kind of thing for, oops, gotta go back. All right. So again, hands. So your thumbs are by your navel, your hands make a little V down there. And when you breathe out, you're pushing all the air out of your stomach, sort of sucking it in as tightly as you can to your backbone, kind of thing. And you feel your stomach sucking in really well. And then when you inhale, your stomach will go out. And the idea is that you are doing this in an exaggerated way. So, because your stomach, many of us, your stomach goes out in and out a little bit when we're breathing anyway, but you want to do this in an exaggerated way so that you can feel it. And again, it's going to stimulate your internal organs, your intestines. And we would do this again for like 100 times in the class. These are some of the basic kinds of things. And this is all sort of out of the Asian or Eastern mode. So are you feeling your bellies go in and out? Got that thing going? All right, so that was the second. And so the last one we're going to do is to sit down for. So how many folks have heard of tapping before or done any tapping? Okay, so that's one of the other things that he promotes is tapping. We're going to do a little head tapping. There's a video that we're going to share, and I think it's about a 10-minute video, but I think we have time to do the whole thing. What do you think, Susie?
Yeah, Okay.
Okay. All right, so let me stop sharing.
Yeah, I'm sharing.
Okay, so you're gonna do this.
Yeah.
In this video, I will show you a 10-minute routine to do for brain tapping. Brain tapping is a technique developed by Il Chili from Brain Education, where you use your fingers and your energy sense to clear blockages in your brain. So brain tapping is really good for people who have frequent headaches, migraine, brain fog, just a general sense of heaviness and blockage in your head. Brain tapping is very good to clear away that kind of stagnant energy. So I'll show you how to do it, where to focus, and what to feel while you're doing the brain tapping. First, sit in a comfortable posture. So if you want to sit on a chair, that's great. If you can, sit with your spine straight. If you slouch, then your spine, if it slouches, it's hard for energy to travel up to your brain. So you want to make your spine as straight as possible so that energy can flow up to your brain as best as it can.
Usually bras fit small-chested women. Tapping. You guys, look at how much space that is. This was my life. Gaps, tons of shifting, not being able to bend over.
Right, so first, if you're sitting on a chair, I suggest putting your feet flat on the floor, parallel. So not your feet outward or inward or crossed over or like this. Your feet flat on the floor, parallel to each other. And first, rest your hands on your knees and close your eyes. Close your eyes. Let's do a few breaths to get our mind and our body. First, deep breath in through your nose. Sigh out through your mouth. Breathe in through your nose. Sigh out through your mouth. One more time. Breathe in through your nose. Sigh out through your mouth. Now, with your eyes staying closed, visualize your brain. So imagine your brain floating in the middle of your head, underneath your skull. Visualize your brain as it sits inside of your head. Can you see your brain? Does your brain look like a healthy brain, a bright brain, or a dark brain? A shriveled up brain or a very straight and clear looking brain? Whatever you see, that's okay. Just feel and observe the condition of your brain as it is. And now slowly open your eyes. We're going to use our fingertips to tap our brain. So when you tap your brain, imagine you are tapping through your skull into your brain. So you're not just tapping the surface of your skin. Imagine energy coming from your fingertips like lasers coming through your fingertips and penetrating through your skull into your brain. So your brain is being stimulated as you tap. Okay, first we're going to start from the top of our head. This is your 7th chakra, crown chakra. The highest point on your head where babies have their soft spot. Tap up here first, relaxing your wrists, relaxing your fingers. So not like this. Relax your wrists, relax your fingers. And tap the top of your head first. If you have the movement down, I suggest closing your eyes so you can feel your head a little bit better. If there's some blockage here, you will feel some pain. Do you feel some pain? Keep tapping. Imagine lasers pointing out through your fingertips, breaking up the blockage on the top of your head. Tap, tap, tap. And your breathing should be gentle and natural. Breathe gently and naturally. If you feel a lot of pain, sigh out. Sigh out the pain and imagine it pushing out of your body. Push out the pain through your exhale. And now go to the back side of your head. So behind the roundest point right here, back side of your head. And now down to the base of your skull. There's a little dip at the base of your skull where your skull and neck meet. So tap there, base of your skull. And around the horizontal axis of it. So tap the base of your skull, dip, and then the side and back in a horizontal line along that axis. Keeping your wrists relaxed, fingers relaxed, breathe out tension from your head. As your brain releases tension here, some common symptoms are yawning, maybe some tears in your eyes, heat on your face. All blocked energy leaving your body now. You're doing great. And now from here, tap the side of your head, side. And now down to your temples, tap your temples. Lots of pain here for people who have lots of thinking. Lots of thinking, lots of judgment, lots of analyzing mind. Tension here. Tap, tap, tap. Through your fingers, lasers are shooting into your brain, breaking up blockages, heavy thoughts, negative thoughts, judgments, analyses, sadness, anger, everything that's making you heavy, break it up. Exhale. The more pain you feel, the more you should exhale, because the more you exhale, the more stagnant energy is going to leave your body. And now behind your ear, tap behind your ear. Breathe.
It's tiring.
And now one more time, the circuit one more time. Start from the top of your head. Always start from the top of your head, your seventh chakra. And go down the back side. Tap the back of your head behind the roundest part of your skull. Tap. Try to tap a little bit deeper this time. Try to tap a little bit deeper into your brain, like you're tapping into the middle of your brain, deep inside. Breathe out. Sigh out your pain, sigh out tension, sigh out heaviness. And now down to the base of your skull, where your skull meets your neck, base of your skull. And along the horizontal axis of the base of your skull, side, middle. And now to the side. Your shoulders might hurt right now. Keep exhaling. Instead of dropping your arms, exhale. Exhale and guide the pain from your shoulders, arms, head out of your body through your breath. And now temples. Temples. Yeah, try to leave your jaw slightly open. So you create a little bit more room in your temples rather than clamping down. Leave your jaw slightly open. Exhale through your mouth. And now behind your ears.
If you struggle to lose weight, you must see this. A fast-evolving loophole has just been...
Behind your ears. And now your forehead. Tap your forehead. The front side of your brain is your thinking brain. If you have a lot of thoughts, this part will hurt. But that's okay. When you feel pain, just breathe out. Oh, great job. Stop. Rest your hands on your knees. Close your eyes. Feel your body, especially your brain. Feel your brain and feel your head area. Do you feel some tingling sensation around your brain and head? You might feel some pulsing sensation, like a warm, warm, warm kind of feeling around your fingers, head, and brain. Do you feel some warmth in your fingers, head, and brain? Did you have some tears come out of your eyes? Maybe some yawning? All of these are great signs that you released energy from inside of your brain. You did a great job. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Sigh out heaviness from your mouth. Again, breathe in, bring in fresh oxygen all the way into your brain. Exhale, push heaviness out from your brain through your exhale. One last time, breathe in through your nose, let fresh oxygen go all the way into your brain. And a sigh out. Open your eyes. How did you do? How does your brain feel? Do you feel lighter, more clear? Sometimes if you pushed a lot of energy out, your eyes can see a little bit more clearly. Keep practicing this until your head feels light and cool. Maybe just one 10-minute routine is not enough for all the heat that's trapped in your head to release. But if you do it again, keep tapping until your head feels light and cool. When your head is cool, that is the optimal energy state. You did great.
Yes. Thank you, everyone, for being such good sports. Did anybody feel anything different as a part of the tapping?
Fingers are vibrating.
Good, good. Okay.
Very relaxing.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
So we just did head tapping here, kind of thing. When I was in class, a lot of times the other thing we would do is we would do whole body tapping as a part of the class. You know, starting with our shoulders and tapping down our arms and back up the back side of your arms and stuff like that. And all of this stuff, the two exercises we showed you about the abdominal and the intestinal exercises, even the tapping seems simple. I can explain it to you pretty easily, kind of thing. But it takes effort. And the reason I think this is, so I think it's really cool in retrospect, thinking about these exercises, because it does make your body work in this non-traditional way that can make, so she talked about when we were tapping, you know, did you feel like your arms were getting tired? So, you know, if you were 20, your arms might not have gotten tired when you were tapping your head. And if you tapped your head for 10 minutes every day, I'm pretty sure it would have an effect on the muscles in your arms. So this is, in my mind, it's like very subtle in terms of how it engages your whole body in being more fit, if you will, or at least fit for life kind of stuff. Same thing with like the intestinal exercise. I think, you know, we're used to thinking that core exercises are all about laying on your back and doing crunches or something similar to that. And yet I think if most, you know, that if you stood and sucked your stomach in and out for 100 times every day, it would have an impact on your core strength. Same thing. So I think that, you know, there's something to this Asian perspective on keeping us fit and our brains fit that I thought was pretty interesting about these books that we read from Ilchi. So does anybody have any thoughts or questions about any of this exercise stuff? Donna?
Yeah, so, you know, I didn't really believe in tapping when Roberta introduced me to it in 2010. But that was a period of time where I was undergoing chemo. And I would have chemo on Thursday, and then Friday I would get Neulasta. And then during the weekend, my head would be pounding, like there would be nothing that I could do. And one day I was pounding so bad, nothing was helping. And I tapped and tapped and tapped. And I tell you what, it went away. It was the only thing that worked. So I became a believer.
Excellent, excellent.
Mhm.
All right. Anybody else want to share?
I have a comment about when was tapping, my arms were getting very tired. But Janice and I had a conversation the other day about playing the piano, and you're not supposed to play the piano very close. You can't play close. Your arms have to be out about a foot. And when you first start doing that, your arms get very tired. You think, oh my God, how am I going to keep doing this? But you know what? After a while, you don't even think about it. And I'm sure the same thing happens when you do the tapping, just like you said.
Yep, I think that's true. All right, great.
I just want to say that I'm so glad everybody else said that their arms were getting tired. Because I went to the gym today and I lifted weights. So I thought it was because I was tired from lifting weights. But if everybody else's felt like mine did, then that wasn't it.
Right.
I have a comment about the Asian practices. I do Kundalini yoga, which is an Asian form. And like the breath exercise, we call it breath of fire. And you might have to do that for 3 minutes, but it's doesn't involve a lot of poses. It's more seated, which works for me. But some of the meditation, you have to hold your arms or hands up. And the class I go to, it's usually 3 minutes. And you think your arms are going to fall off by the time you're done. But I have also used the tapping to help manage phantom limb pain. And there's very little that works for that, but that did help.
Excellent. All right. Now I think we're going to set up another exercise. So let me see here if I can share again. Oh, do you want to share the setup, Susie? Because I think you're in charge of sharing right now. And you have the deck. It's just the slide about atomic habits, and then you can put us in a room.
So you don't want to share? Do you want?
Well, it doesn't look like it's letting me. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I was looking in the wrong place. Never mind. You guys can tell I'm really excellent at this sharing thing, aren't you?
That's okay.
All right. All right, so we're going to do an exercise around atomic habits kind of thing. So then this was a very popular book. And for many, so if you now have learned some of these Asian style exercises and you're curious, you want to add this to your exercise repertoire. Maybe you want to learn more about how to create a new habit in your life. So we're going to talk about 2 of the suggestions that James makes in these small groups. And one of the things that he says is if you want to add a new habit, you really sort of have to think about the kind of person you'd like to become, because if you don't have this habit now, you're not a person that taps every morning for, 5 minutes kind of thing. And so you want to become the kind of person that taps every day for 5 minutes because you think that will make a difference in your life. So first of all is think about who do you want to become with these new habits or with the habits you get rid of. And then the other things have to do with, contrary to what we've been taught, you want to make the start small and you want to anchor it with some existing habits. So those are a couple of the recommendations that we have from James that we're going to talk about in our group. So think for a second while you're moving into your breakout room. what habit it is that you want to add or change or get rid of. And then we can sort of discuss potentially some small steps and how you might anchor it.
And let's go 10 minutes because it's almost 7:30 right now.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
I hit the leave the break room.
Yeah.
It said 58 seconds and I was doing one of those, okay, I'm gonna like get rid of that screen off my computer and I hit the leave break room.
Well, I always have a fear that I'm going to leave the whole meeting. You know, if I'm closing it.
Hi, Maureen.
Hey, hello.
Hi.
I just said I hit the leave break room by mistake.
And you're here with us.
Oh, yeah, yeah. The people in your breakout group are gonna wonder, well, what happened to her?
Yeah, what? Sorry, Anna. You were right in the middle of telling your story and I hit the leave break room button by mistake.
That's okay.
Hi, Anna.
Oh, hi.
All right. Are we all back? Did anybody have any ahas about what they learned by sharing the Atomic Habits lessons in their group? Sharon, you're nodding your head, so what?
Yeah, no, I think it's very motivating. And Maureen did a great job of setting out the steps. And then we all kind of had, you know, our own examples of things that we have, either habits we have or things that we would like to have. But I mean, it has a nice clear sequence of things to do, which I guess everybody did in their groups. Would that be correct? That we all
To some degree, yeah, to some degree, yeah.
So
not everybody in my group had a habit. We had one good volunteer that said, I have a habit. So we had a good, I thought we had a good conversation around it. So,
yeah, I definitely would want to get the book and read it. Yeah.
okay. So Brenda's one of the people that's interested in the book as well. So she's going to vote strongly for that as a book for the longevity.
Oh yeah.
Mastermind, because it'll be on the list of ones you get to choose, kind of thing. So
okay, great. Okay.
All
You know
right.
what? I just wanted to say with my group, Mary brought up something very interesting where he said, you know, just take 2 minutes. When you start your habit, just take it for 2 minutes. Well, she has been with another group and they said, do the habit 2 minutes every hour.
No.
Yeah.
No, it was 2 minutes every 2 hours.
Oh, 2 minutes. I'm sorry.
That's all the difference in the world.
Yes.
Still a lot.
While you're awake.
I think
Okay.
that's people.
While we're awake. All right. Anything else people found in the conversation about atomic habits they want to share?
And just along the lines I was thinking when you're talking about, you know, start small, don't try and boil the ocean in your
Right.
first couple steps. And I remember somebody was talking with somebody that wanted to exercise more, wanted to get out and walk every day and, you know, get in a mile or 2 miles every day. And the person said, okay, before I see you next week, what I want you to do is just go home, put your tennis shoes on. You don't have to do anything, just put your tennis shoes on and then take them off. And you know, you're done. I want you to report in next week that you put your tennis shoes on. And when the woman got back the next week, she said, well, I figured, what the heck? I got my shoes on. I'm going to go out and she walked for 10 minutes.
Right.
And it was like you said, it just kind of feeds on itself when you take a baby step and you think, okay, that wasn't such a big deal. I'll take it a step further. So.
All right. So I think we have another slide. Let me share my screen here. Just a quick graph. Oh, go ahead. Somebody have something they wanted to share?
Well, I thought Mary Ann had a really interesting habit idea. May I share it, Mary Ann?
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm here.
Oh, here she is. She's back.
I don't know what happened.
We see you.
You see me? Okay. Oh, you can see me. What am I supposed to be sharing about my kitchen and morning routine?
I thought that was really unique. You had a great idea.
Well, I have balance, little balance exercises and leg muscle and core muscle strengthening activities that you do standing. And in the kitchen in the morning, I'm fixing my breakfast, I'm making toast, I'm doing stuff, and I'm waiting for the toaster to ding and the coffee to heat up and the blah, blah, blah. And so instead of standing still, I'm doing lateral walks along around the kitchen, and I'm doing balancing one foot on the other and walking in certain ways and doing all these little exercises while I'm waiting for the toast to toast and the coffee to coffee.
Okay.
Yeah. That's really good anchoring. in
It
James
also
Clear's,
helps me to wake up.
yeah. In James Clear's world, that's really good anchoring. All right, anything else? All right, so just as a wrap up, so the group is going to do another, so we are not reading any books this summer per se. We are going to do another adventure. So we're going, most of us, not all of us, we're going to go spend a few nights in the Over the Rhine area in Cincinnati. So we're calling this an urban adventure. We're going to check out parts of Cincinnati, how we do staying in an urban environment, check out our ability to pick out better Airbnb pictures that might be more suitable, kind of thing. And then in September, we'll get back over the summer, we'll pick out the books that we're going to read, but we'll just get back together again and do more exploration through books, discussions, and actions, all with the idea in mind of living our best lives at this stage of the game. I just wanted to let people know we also have a new peer group that's up and running. We've met a couple of times. It's called the Longevity Mastermind, so it's underway. They've started with the first 2 books that we started with 2 years ago, and then just like the current one, they'll get to pick their books. I do really appreciate people signing up and committing to read 100 pages every 2 weeks and come together at a specified time and talk about it. I think it helps solidify the group and stuff like that. So maybe the new group will do an adventure in summer of 2023. We'll see. But that's what's going on. And then I just wanted to, as a final kind of, you guys have any questions, comments, curiosities, anything else for the good of the order around this topic of mastering getting old, living our best lives till the age of 100 or so? We just open it up.
Well, my comment isn't about that. It's that I wanted to become a part of that mastermind group, but I haven't been in town and I've had life stuff that caused me not to be a part of it. But I'd like to go to the next meeting. And I wondered if there was, if I'm on the list, and if I'm not, could you put me on the list?
So typically we are not, people don't come in and out as their schedule permits. The idea is for people to sort of be willing to arrange their schedules so that.
Schedule is one thing, dear, life is another. My life just didn't allow a schedule.
Well, I guess so, I mean, if you think you're going to be able to show up regularly, it's just really hard to have any kind of cohesion with people.
Yes, I understand that.
Okay. Well, I can put you on the list for the next one and we'll see how it goes.
Okay, sounds like a plan.
All right. Anything else?
And if you want to stop sharing, I just want to say this has been wonderful, and I'm very impressed with what you all do and how you are studying these books, and so I just wanted to thank you and everybody who did the little small groups tonight.
Yeah.
Thanks for hosting, Susie and Ann, of course. But I meant thanks for doing all the Zoom stuff. And Ann, you did a great job. Thank you.
Oh, you're quite welcome.
Yeah.
And
I hope you feel better.
I'll get better. Maybe in 10 years from now, I'll be a whiz at Zoom or whatever there is out there that we use, but it's all good. It's all good. All right. So if nobody
Thank
else
you.
has any other questions or anything?
No, it was nice. I really enjoyed it.
I think it's-
Yeah, it was a really good presentation and all the
Yes.
work that you guys did really came across.
All the
and,
facilitation, yeah.
I think it was a really good program. So thank you all for participating.
Thank you guys all for your participation. It was great. We enjoyed doing it. Don't we, guys? Don't we? enjoy
Yes,
it?
thank you.
Yes, we do.
I want to thank everyone for being such good sports and going along and doing the tapping and doing all of our exercises. That was great.
It was good.
Fun. It was fun.
Yes.
And then don't forget, we've got the High and the Hog coming up. If you want to sign up for that, look in your email. And I don't remember what else we have, but there's all kinds of stuff going on.
Forget the picnic in June.
Oh, yes. the
Yeah, picnic in
Um,
June.
Maureen and I have games. Okay.
Oh, for the picnic?
Yes.
Of course,
Yes.
of course.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. And so everybody's gonna bring a dish and are we RSVPing?
Well, yes, you have to sign up. You have to register for the event.
Yeah.
So you'll
That's
get,
your RSVP.
that's your
Okay.
RSVP. You have to register online, and when you get your confirmation, you'll get the address, Mary's address, so you'll know where the picnic is. And then we're just trusting everybody to know the name, their first letter of their last name, and to bring something accordingly.
Oh, first letter.
All
But
right.
that is a matter of trust that we have with you.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna miss it next month, you guys, but I'll be sending you pictures from Africa.
That
Good.
was nice. That was
That
wonderful.
means somebody else has to take pictures at the event.
Yeah.
Donna got a new camera. She can do it.
Oh, Don has a new camera. All right.
I have a new phone.
Well, it's a camera.
That works. That
And
works.
she doesn't have a hip repair this year either.
No.
Yeah, that's
No
right.
white socks for me this year.